Mr. President.
The senator from Nevada.
Mr. President, I rise today to express my strong opposition to the devastating and dangerous tax and spending bill that Senate Republicans are trying to jam through this weekend on a party line vote. A bill that will gut essential programs like Medicaid and SNAP just to pay for even more tax breaks for billionaires. So let's be clear about what's happening here. This big, beautiful betrayal, it isn't about fiscal discipline, it's fiscally reckless. It isn't about responsibility or doing what's best for average Americans. It's about misguided priorities. It's about giving more to the ultra-wealthy on the backs of hard-working families. This bill will take away health care and food assistance from people and families who need it most, just so D.C. Republicans can pay more for tax cuts for those who need them the least. D.C. Republicans want to have more tax cuts for those who need them the least. Once again, Republicans in Congress are putting the interests of the ultra-wealthy above the needs of hardworking families, children with disabilities, seniors, and Americans who rely on Medicaid each and every day. Earlier this year, I held a roundtable in Las Vegas with Nevada families who rely on Medicaid. For them, Medicaid is not just a talking point. They're not simply pay-fors in a budget bill. Medicaid is a lifeline. It literally keeps their children alive. I talked to people like Jessica, whose daughter Kay, well, she's 4 years old. She was born with Down syndrome and was recently diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Jessica relies on Medicaid to help cover the cost of weekly physical, speech, and occupational therapies for Kay, all of which are responsible, well, they're helping her learn to walk, to use utensils, to write her own name. Imagine when her mother sees her write her own name. It's a proud moment. Kay also has a cardiologist and an endocrinologist to manage conditions related to her Down syndrome. Medicaid covers these doctors. It covers her insulin. It covers the insulin pump that allows Jessica to manage her daughter's diabetes around the clock, well, because Kay can't communicate when her blood sugar is dangerously low or high. And Jessica said something at that round table I'll never forget. And I quote, "I can't imagine losing Medicaid. Obviously, I'm going to have to try to give up something because I'm not going to let her go without insulin and the life-saving care she needs. And I can't even imagine to think about what I'd have to cut or what I'd have to do in order to pay for the life-saving care that she needs and deserves." Christy, another Nevada mom, was also at that round table. Her daughter Sadie's 13. She's been bravely battling an aggressive form of leukemia for the past 2 years. Since her diagnosis, Sadie has spent more than a year and a half in and out of the hospital undergoing treatment for her cancer, all covered, thankfully, by Medicaid. Sadie's father, well, he passed away during the COVID pandemic, sadly. And Christy became Sadie's sole caregiver and sole provider. Medicaid, it's critical, and simply put, it is life-saving. So why are Republicans looking to cut it? So billionaires can get another tax break? So that Republican lawmakers can hand out trillions of dollars in tax giveaways to the wealthiest 1%, while thousands of people lose access to life-saving care? The cuts proposed to Medicaid, well, they're going to affect veterans and Nevadans with cancer who can't work and will be kicked off their health insurance, the insurance that they need to stay alive. It'll kick the family caregiver who takes care of both her aging parents maybe off her own coverage. The majority of adults on Medicaid already work, and Republicans are counting on savings from these hardworking Americans losing coverage too because of paperwork. The paperwork is just going to be so bureaucratic, so full of red tape. The goal is to make it so hard, so damn burdensome that nobody can do it. No one can go to work, take care of their sick loved one, be sick themselves. They're hoping they drop off, even if they technically qualify. This is where they find their savings. Aren't we supposed to cut red tape and improve the lives of our constituents? And so this is just cruel. It's a lose-lose situation. People can't work because they have a life-threatening illness, or they're working and they miss the complicated new paperwork, or people are hoping that they can't do, so they'll drop off, and that's where they'll find the savings. They'll lose their health insurance, and maybe they'll drop off, and they'll lose their life too. All for a tax break for the wealthiest, for the billionaire cabinet of our current president. Mr. President, this is just shameful. This bill would also slash SNAP, as my colleagues before me have told you some of the statistics. SNAP, the nutrition program that helps nearly 1 in 6 Nevadans put food on the table. Most of these recipients are children. When they cut this program, you tell me what our families supposed to do. You tell me what families are supposed to do when they cut food assistance. How are they going to put food on the table? What will they say to their hungry children? Sorry, kids, you have to go hungry so billionaires can get a tax break? This just can't be right. This just can't be right. And it doesn't stop there. This bill threatens thousands of good-paying union jobs in Nevada, across our country, by letting critical tax credits for solar, for wind projects expire before those projects can even get off the ground. You know, in Nevada, we have more solar jobs per capita, more than any other state in the nation. And we have enough solar energy to power nearly 1.3 million homes. It's a growing, terrific industry in Nevada. We need all the energy we can get at an affordable price. And this bill is going to decimate this important and growing industry, not just in my state, but in states across this country. And on top of that, Republicans have added an additional new tax on wind and solar projects. It just won't kill the industry. Like I said, it's going to raise prices on hard-working families who are already paying too much for their energy. I thought we're supposed to be lowering prices, creating opportunities, expanding, and investing in our infrastructure and in our nation. But this bill is going to add more taxes, slash products, and raise energy prices for hardworking families. And all of this is causing companies across the country to stall or cancel projects over the uncertainty of losing access to the tax credits. This means fewer jobs, less investment, and just more families wondering actually how they're going to make ends meet. And we're talking about an industry that supports nearly 280,000 American workers, electricians, technicians, construction crews. I could go on and on about all the jobs that are in our solar and wind industry. And we're pulling the rug right out from under them, and killing thousands, hundreds of thousands of clean energy jobs. Again, I'm going to remind you, all of this for one purpose, and one purpose alone, to give tax breaks to billionaires. So anyone who supports this bill is not pro-worker. They're not looking out for underdogs, for hardworking families. They're just focused on making the rich, well, richer. And I'm not going to stand by and let families lose access to their health care, to their food assistance, to their jobs. Also, billionaires can pad their pockets. And I want to remind people what we did when we used the reconciliation process. We expanded health insurance subsidies, and for the first time, we gave Medicare the authority to negotiate for lower drug prices for our seniors. We invested in our clean energy future. We cut costs for families instead of cutting lifelines. And this D.C. Republican bill is extreme. It's cruel, and it's not what the American people want. People want lower costs. People want economic security. Parents want their kids to have care when they're sick and a fair shot to thrive. They don't want their future sold off to billionaires. So I say to my Republican colleagues, please don't turn your backs. Please don't turn your backs on families who need you, who need this the most. I want you to come look at my Nevada moms and my Nevada dads in the eyes and tell them they don't matter, that their children don't matter, that their lives of their kids don't matter because they won't get the care they need. And I shudder to think of the consequences. Please come to Nevada, sit with these parents, and tell them that they don't matter. I don't know how you could face them and gut Medicaid to give billionaires a tax cut, but that's what you're about to do. And the American people deserve better. And I will fight every single step of the way to make sure that they get it. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.